Hey, it's Greg at the Vinyl Arms, and thanks for tuning in. Another response video, another tag that's doing the rounds, and this one pricked my ears up. I saw Gav Axeman Spins do his response to this one. That's what alerted me to this one. And it's a tag set up by Glen Kellaway. I'll pop his link below, and it's a CD tag for 2026. So excited to do this one. Love the CD format. So here we go. Favorite CD purchase of 2025? Well, it's got to be this one. Talia Zedek, the Talia Zedek band. Now, Talia Zedek was the singer of a band in the 90s called Come, and they were sort of an alternative blues rock band. You know, did some cracking albums, sort of 90s period. This is her latest one. She's working with some great musicians on this. I must give a shout out to the pedal steel guitarist Karen Sarkisian. And she really does make that guitar sing on this album. But Talia's voice is as rich and as bluesy and as you would expect. You know, it's an absolute masterpiece. Best sounding CD in collection. I've talked about this one before. I did a CD, sort of a best 10 sounding CDs in my collection a while back. But, you know, I was thinking about that, and it's got to be this one. Woodland Studios by Gillian Welsh. There's just something about how this is mastered and how it's produced. It's just an absolutely wonderful sounding sort of country Americana record. And if you're not familiar with it, please give it a listen. She's got such a beautiful voice. David Rawlins does a lot of the guitar on this as well, and he's such a talented guitarist, and it just makes for a really wonderful listen. Show a clamshell box. I picked this one up a couple of years ago. I See You Live on Love Street, and it's a compilation of the Laurel Canyon scene back in the day, and it's got a load of tracks. I mean, it's a triple CD highlighting songs from 1967 to 1975, which was a great period of music in this area. I mean, on here, it goes in sort of chronological order. You've got bands like The Doors on here, Clear Light, Peanut Butter Conspiracy, Tim Buckley, Stephen Stills. I mean, there's tons of stuff. Canned Heat, Steppenwolf, Frank Zappa, Warren Zevon. You've got Linda Ronstadt doing an amazing cover version of Neil Young's Birds. Judy Still. Crazy Horse are on here, Gram Parsons. I mean, it's just a who's who of what was going on in that scene at that time. And, you know, what's really good about these sort of compilations, if I just open it up, it's like a little clamshell here, like opens up like that. And you've got a nice booklet in here. I don't know if I can get that on there, but with tons of information about the bands and the recordings and, you know, who was making the music at the time. And you've got like this triple CD in nice sort of cardboard sleeves. And also, I didn't realise this was in here actually. This is where I got it from. A little Jumbo Records thank you slip. Hey Greg, thanks for the order. Hope you enjoy this compilation. Have a great weekend, Aidan and all at Jumbo. Thanks, Aidan. So I'll keep that in there. But what an absolute wonderful compilation. Highly recommended. And a great dive into a scene where if you were going to collect all of these records individually or CDs individually, it would cost you an absolute fortune. So that's why I like that compilation there. 3 bands you've got the most CDs by. David Bowie, I've just had a little count up, 47 Bowie CDs. A box set counts as one. So, you know, 47 individual items. Neil Young, 21 CDs, and a band called Air, which it's sort of like an ambient, sort of French progressive ambient band. I've got 15 of their CDs and singles and things. Great band to collect. CDs from different decades. So I'm going to work backwards here. In the 20s, the most recent Hawkwind album is an absolute essential piece of prog psych rock. Absolutely love that one. So that was in 23 on Cherry Red Records. So in the tens, I'm going to go for a Guided by Voices album, The Bears for Lunch, which is it's just one of my favourites. I think they really sort of hit peak form again. They've obviously done a lot of albums. I think they're on 50 something now. You know, there's a lot to go at, but this one is just a really engaging, fun listen. Robert Pollard and co are on top form. This was on Fire Records in 2012. And then we're going back to the noughties, and I've been listening to this one a lot in the car. Dove's Kingdom of Rust. Oh, what a beautiful sounding album. Released in 2009 on Heavenly Records. I think this one for me is really pertinent to this time of the year. It's cold outside. There's lots of icy mornings. It's dark. It's snowing. And this has a really sort of wintry feel to it, you know. And there's great songs on here. Kingdom of Rust, Spellbound is brilliant. House of Mirrors, I mean, that is an absolute pounding track. If you're not familiar with this album, give House of Mirrors a go and give Kingdom of Rust a go. You know, those two tracks should give you a good indication of what they're like. So then we're into the 90s. And I remember picking this one up at the time, Dr. John. Now, I was really into Supergrass on this. I was really into Spiritualized at the time. I'd seen them a couple of times live. They just recently put out Ladies and Gentlemen album, which is a classic. And I spotted this in a shop, and the sticker really sort of drew my attention to it. Special guests include Paul Weller, Spiritualized, and Gaz and Mick from Supergrass. So without further ado, I picked that up in, when would it have been? 1998 on EMI Records, and that is an absolute wonderful listen. I've got lots of his stuff since, but that was really my first sort of foray into Dr. John. And then back to the 80s and the ever classic blues rock and roll band, the Dogs D'Amour, and their wonderful album, Errol Flynn. They've done about 5 or 6 albums with the original lineup from back in the day, but this really, for me, is probably the pick of the bunch. Some absolutely wonderful tunes released on China Records in 1989. Good fun, that one. Okay. CDs from different genres. Yeah, this is a good one. So I like lots of different music, as we all do. So I like a bit of reggae. This is a fabulous release. When was this put out? Fairly recently, 23 on Dr. Bird Records, and it's Dandy. And this guy does sort of rock steady and reggae music. And there's some absolutely great songs on here, including People Do Rock Steady, which is a classic, and also Rudy, A Message to You, which you may or may not know. And it's one of these nice sort of double sort of fold out CDs. You've got one on each side of the inner there. So that's a nice tidy release. So a bit of reggae, a bit of German progressive sort of experimentalism in Cannes. And this album is just genius. You know, it's a really good listen, really intriguing listen, sort of captivates you. Mesmerizes you, but if you want to pick one of these off here to just have a go at, I'd have a go at Vitamin C. I think that is a great tune. Amara Portuondo. Now, this is the lady who does a lot of the singing in the Buena Vista Social Club. This is her solo album on World Circuit Records from back in, when was this? 2000 now. But, you know, sort of very sort of Cuban influence, sort of jazzy feel to it. She's got a very rich voice. You know, it's a really enjoyable listen. There's a lot of the stuff on World Circuit Records and they always come with these nice little sort of O cards that sort of cover the CD as well. So really well presented there. And here's a bit of a wild card. Dan Lassac and Scroobius Pip. Saw these guys live a couple of times back in the day. Really good fun. It's kind of a mix of sort of hip hop. Scroobius Pip is sort of like a rapper and a poet, and he sort of puts all of his lyrics over the top of Dan Lassac's electronics and beats, and it makes for a really fun listen. This album, Angles, is a particular classic. I think they've done 4 albums. I've got all of them, but this is the one. If you're going to have a go at something, you know, with sort of big break beats in and sort of, you know, rap over the top, give this a go. It's a really fun listen. Show a box set. Well, I'm going to go for oopsie daisy. I'm going to go for Ortecra. This is you probably can't get this, but it's sort of it's sort of engraved on the cover there, but it's all black and it says Ortecra EPs 1991 to 2002. So this has got all sorts of stuff on here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 CDs in there, and they're all in this sort of nice sort of black sort of gatefold sleeve, very sort of minimalist. It was designed by the Designers Republic, who do a lot of stuff for Warp Records and presentation and packaging for them. But this is an absolute tapestry of electronica music. And a lot of the Ortecra stuff, whether that's CD or vinyl, is really expensive to buy and really hard to find in good condition. So this came out and it was an opportunity. It wasn't cheap. I think it was 50, 60 quid at the time when it came out. But it's an opportunity to get all of their EPs, all of their Peel sessions in one go. And you know, it's just brilliant. You know, a real sort of deep dive into that sort of electronica scene. Show a favourite album on CD. Well, I can't do a video without mentioning this guy, David Bowie, Station to Station, an absolute classic. But this is the 2010 release, and it comes with 3 CDs. You've got CD2 and CD3 alive at Nassau Coliseum. It's in like a nice open box, and you got all this stuff going in here and in some postcards and what have you. But the actual album, Station to Station, I've got this on quite a few different formats and quite a few different CDs and what have you, but this one sounds the best. There's just something about how this was mastered and released that just sounds absolutely beautiful. So yeah, Station to Station, one of my favourite albums, and on that particular release, sounding as best as it possibly can. How many CDs in your collection? I've just tipped over 500. So yeah, 520, something like that. Most recent purchase, well, there's 2 actually. I mentioned earlier about a singer I've been getting into called Gillian Welsh. I've bought maybe 4 or 5 of her albums in the last sort of couple of years. And as you do, you know, when you sort of discover new music, you start to take offshoots, don't you, and listen to, you know, people she works with and what have you. And one such guy she does a lot of work with is this guy, David Rawlins. Now, she sings on this as well, but this is his album, the David Rawlins Machine, and it's Nashville Obsolete. And I picked this up a couple of weeks ago, been listening to it a lot, and it's just brilliant. Again, it's sort of that country sort of Americana vibe, but I love that cover as well. You know, it's just brilliant. And this was released on Coney Records in 2015, but as I say, I've only just picked that up in the last couple of weeks. I bought that and this off a guy who was selling them on Discogs, really well priced. I think they were like £5 each or something, so I thought I can't miss up on that. I've not listened to this one yet, but it's Robin Hitchcock, an album called Spooked, and it came out in 2004. Now, the reason I got this, I don't know if you can see that on the sticker there, the hype sticker, but it basically says with Gillian Welsh and David Rawlins. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give that a go and explore some of their sort of more supportive roles, you know, in enriching other people's music. So yeah, they're my 2 latest CDs. Thanks for watching, Glenn. Thanks for putting this thread on. It's been good fun. It's been lovely looking through the CD collection and rooting these out. Best wishes to everybody in 26, and see you later.